We were civilians. Though at times my brother was a soldier, and while his fingers played their swan song, mine were playing peacemaker. But a 5-year-old is not a bomb squad. Tick, 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 I remember the bed just floating there. Apart. My mother, she taught me this trick. If you repeat something over and over again, it loses its meaning. See, my parents got a divorce when I was 7 years old. Nothing lasts forever. Hush. I am 5 years old and I already have a list of credentials as marriage therapist, counselor, and combat veteran. But I won't tell anyone what's going on, so I bring it with me to school and I hope that someone will read my cry, because you can't. I read your obituary for breakfast this morning, and as I sat staring at the biography of your years, I couldn't help but to think that they didn't tell the truth in your obituary. Daddy, you see, you lived a musical life, one that sounded like an alphabetical orchestra. Your favorite song was the letter U. I was your daughter. Mama combs my hair and the comb breaks. Daddy teaches me how to drive. Brother teaches me how to survive. I do not write poems about my family. But Mama said, I do. Then Daddy said, I don't 20 years later, so I stopped calling Mama, start calling Daddy just Dad, start calling them both other things sometimes. Like broken, like frozen, like cold. Dad says he's getting old, says he's selling our house. How silly of me to think that this was my home. In July 2019, author Dalia Auerbach addresses a term called parentification, in which the familial roles between guardian and child become reversed. Now, experts detail in their 2017 Washington Post article that parentification creates an atmosphere of neglect, because children are made responsible for looking after the emotional and psychological well-being of their parent while suppressing their own normal childhood needs. In many of these situations, children are disclosed information that they haven't been taught how to cope with yet, including divorce, witnessing violence at home, death of a parent, or even parental mental illness. However, when children grow up in this atmosphere of mental distress, often paired with the emotional trauma from their parent, they are unable to claim the spaces in their homes as they should. As children, rather than involuntary therapists. So through the poetry Broken Combs, Broken Homes by Aaliyah Bradshaw, Children of Divorce by Shea Patrick Fenn and Seidu Tayshaun Thomas, Hush by Eleanor Brown, Repetition by Phil Kay, and Deadbeat, A Conversation with My Father by Jackie Hill, a program. Because your children are always watching. My mother, she taught me this trick. If you repeat something over and over again, it loses its meaning. For example, homework. Homework, 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 homework. See? Nothing. Now, our existence, she said, is the same way. If you make the same mistake over and over, you'll stop calling it a mistake. If you just wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up one day, you'll forget why. Didn't they tell of how much you loved playing games, Father? I swear you were the best player in hide-and-go-seek that I had ever seen. Playing double dutch with our emotions, there was a dice game in your eyes, and you died in mine. The draft went out, and the call of duty rung from the lobby, called before our time. You see, it began as a flurry of words in their bedroom. But the 3 inches wasn't far enough to forget the aftermath. Hush! I say, as I wipe the tears from your eyes, when you promise that soon we will escape, that soon we will spend our nights sleeping instead of crying. But we know that these are just lies and myths and fairy tales that we whisper to comfort ourselves from this thing we call family. Family, 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 family. And for the last argument, they sent me off to the neighbor's house. When I came back, there was no gravity in our home, beds floating. You see, I imagined it as an accident. That when I left, they just whispered to each other, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, see? Nothing. So let's start over, Daddy. I want to share the forgotten pieces shivering in my eyes when I received a text from a friend that read, sorry about your dad. What a comical way to find out that your father is gone. From the night that motorcycle flung your soul into eternity after my parents' divorce, I developed a stutter. You feel the meaning of every word drag itself up your throat. Separation. Stuttering is a cage made of mirrors. Every, are you okay? Every, what you say? Every, come on kids, spit it out, is a glaring reflection you can't escape. Every terrible moment skips over and over, floating in the middle of my room. Where my mind and my keyboard ticked, my mother was a veteran of love America. My mother's eyes watered as she tells me, I know. I've watched these insults laid down like landmines, but the truth began to crack like stained glass because we, the prisoners, were there to absorb the shock. But I am 16, and we are packing when he walks in. And for the first time in my life, I see the mother, the protector that I had waited a lifetime to see, flicker and fade in an instant. And now I don't know who I hate more, him or you. Tick, 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 Dad bad talks Mom on the telephone, his voice sounding like black on black crime, but Mom says nothing because she's fucking passive aggressive. But I did not write poems about when he said, hush, look away. You won't want to see me kill her. Auntie says you are just like your mama. Uncle says you are just like your daddy. I start calling myself other things sometimes. Like broken, like frozen, like cold. Mom says, why in the hell do you put on boy clothing? And I say, it's because these pockets are deeper and kids need a place to keep comebacks when their backpacks so full of broken combs and broken homes. And then you were on the ground with his hands around your throat, and I, without thought, rushed to your aid. I claw and hit and beat and bash until he releases you. And as you gasp for air, I say, hush, and my tears swell. But I don't give a tick. I hear him tick, tick, tick downstairs. His fist shatters the TV and a broken marriage. My parents spoke like Hiroshima. But at 9 years old, I am not ready for war. All those nights where I should have been dreaming of Power Rangers, not of escape plans. Tick, 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 all those days where I should have been playing dress up, not practicing to give testimony. Tick, 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 all those birthdays where I should have been wishing for a new bike instead of wishing he just wouldn't come home. Tick, 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 silence! Was the voice of my God, because I attempted to rewire my parents the same way a child playing Call of Duty can only watch as the connection is divorced in front of him. And I wanted to plug them back in. But they both put down the controllers, and neither one stopped to console the ones left in the game. Because you see, the day you were born and the night your body became a corpse were the only days I've seen you be selfless. But I do not write poems about Mom, Dad. Even after hundreds of hours practicing away my stutter, I still feel the claw of meaning at the bottom of my throat. But you see, I heard that even in space, you can hear the scratching of an I love you. My mother, she taught me this trick. If you repeat something over and over again, it starts sounding like an apology. So I started writing poems about my family.